Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are, it is right now. You're right here. My name is Manuel, and it's my pleasure to welcome you. Today is day 5 of the show, and I have to congratulate you for making the best decision of the day to spend some time with me. Let's get started. Oh boy, the week in news was hot. Hot as all get out. Wow. A lot of anger, a lot of self righteous certainty, a lot of people looking at the exact same images but seeing completely different things, or as Scott Adams would refer to it, the phenomenon of one movie screen with two different movies happening at the same time. Now, you know my goal is to be useful, always. So today, rather than talk about Minneapolis or Davos or Greenland or Trump or Gavin Newsom, I want to talk to you with a wide lens but a very specific focus. And I promise that we'll get back to discussing current events very, very shortly, very soon. But today, I want to talk about a move I keep seeing everywhere, not just online, but in our politics more broadly. In fact, I observed it just last night, and that's what inspired today's conversation with you. It's a move that replaces argument with insult and then declares disagreement as illegitimate. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's how it usually goes: start with an insult, then declare disagreement illegitimate. Imagine someone saying, if you believe X or voted for Y, you're stupid, or you're evil, or you're a traitor, and no reasonable person would disagree about this. And if I might add, if they're feeling really excitable, you're all three of those things and worse. Now that I think about telling you to imagine it, I am certain you've experienced it. Everybody has. So notice what's happening here. That's not an argument. That's a verdict. It's an attempt to end conversation before it starts. The insult is actually beside the point. People insult each other all the time. What matters is the second part. Reasonable people can't disagree with me. That's the tell. That's what really reveals when somebody is saying that to you. The moment someone says that, they're no longer trying to persuade you. They're trying to disqualify you. The mere idea that you would disagree with them proves your bad character and irrationality. And that's a really important distinction. Because persuasion assumes the other person is capable of reason. Decrees assume they're not. At that point, there's no argument happening anymore. There's no evidence being weighed, no trade offs being discussed, no persuasion attempted. It's not reasoning, it's a power move. It's an attempt to end the conversation by declaring they hold a monopoly on reason. This is often sold as moral clarity. It's not. Moral clarity doesn't require silencing dissent. In fact, if you actually have a strong moral or factual case, disagreement is an opportunity, not a threat. You welcome it, you embrace it, because it lets you show your work. It's an opportunity to perform, it's an opportunity to present a graceful dance rather than just be throwing wild punches around. Worse, throwing punches around with your eyes closed. When someone needs to shut down disagreement, it usually means their confidence exceeds their ability to reason. Declaring millions of people traitors is never reason. It's rage with a megaphone. Now, that right there, that's a phrase worth remembering. Write it down. Rage with a megaphone. You see, it feels righteous, but feelings aren't arguments. They're just feelings wearing a costume. And this matters because our republic, our civil society, doesn't work by demanding uniformity. It only works if people can argue, disagree, vote differently, and despite all that, still accept each other's right to choose. That's not a feature of the system to be turned on and off. That is the system. The moment you say reasonable minds can't disagree, you already stepped outside of reason. You're already unreasonable. You're no longer participating in democratic debate. that which keeps civilizations thriving, you're rejecting the premise that debate is legitimate at all. And here's the really uncomfortable part. That mindset is illiberal. Not illiberal in a cartoon villain sense, but in a real historical sense. Liberal societies, in their true and historic meaning of the word liberal, are built on the idea that disagreement is normal, dissent is allowed. Legitimacy doesn't depend on moral conformity. When disagreement itself becomes proof of bad character, you're not defending democracy and you're not protecting civilization. You're hollowing it out. What's especially ironic is that this kind of rhetoric often comes from people who see themselves as defenders of progress, tolerance, and, well, liberal democracy. But genuine liberal democracy doesn't mean everyone agrees with me. It means we coexist despite disagreement. When you declare yourself beyond disagreement, you're not demonstrating insight. You're casting yourself as the hero in your own fairy tale. And that might feel good, but it doesn't move anyone, it doesn't persuade anyone, and it doesn't solve anything. Completely the opposite. In fact, nothing undercuts a claim of being right faster than trying to make dissent illegitimate. The louder you insist that no reasonable person could disagree with me, the more you're admitting you don't actually know how to convince a reasonable person. Let's do something right now that is useful. Answer this question honestly. Were you thinking that all this applies to the other team, but never to you? If you recognize that you yourself have been guilty of leaning on insults and dismissing a disagreement as illegitimate, congratulations. Your self-awareness is pretty high, and your ability to speak honestly with yourself will serve you well in thinking more and more clearly. And there's only an upside to thinking more and more clearly. But if all you heard right now, today, from me, was that the other side is guilty of bad behavior, take a breath and listen to this episode again. The moment someone says reasonable minds can't disagree, no matter who that is, and I mean no matter who that is, whether it's me, whether it's you, whether it's your second grade teacher, doesn't matter. The moment they say that, they've already stepped outside reason. And nothing undercuts a claim of being right faster than trying to make dissent illegitimate. Look, I believe in you. I know you're better than that. All right, that's enough for today. Let's continue tomorrow, and as always, be useful.